Hey everyone, Natalie here with Sparks of Joy Studio. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create your very own graphics that you can use for your projects. If you're like me, you get into creative slumps here and there. Like you want to get all the new gadgets, all the new things, and then you get them, you use them for a bit, and then it's like, ugh, I'm stuck. Like you can't figure out something new you want to do. So that's kind of what was happening to me in the last like several weeks. I've been trying to come up with like the next cool thing, the next big thing, the next thing that'll excite me. And I couldn't come up with it. And especially after seeing all of the wonderful things that everybody's creating with the new IOD sets for the holiday release, which I do not have yet, I really felt a little bit stuck. So I was trying to come up with different ideas, different challenges, things that I could do for myself to get myself kind of motivated again. I kept coming up with different ideas and I just couldn't. Anyway, one of the things about these graphics that I'm going to show you, I have been making them for years. I have a Teachers Pay Teachers store that I use for my primary job, and I have hundreds of clip art that I have created and sold on there. And I've never really thought about using it in this capacity until more recently. So I thought it'd be fun to show you some projects I've created using previously created graphics that I have made. And then I can show you how I actually made them right from the start. I just want to let you know that today's video, I am not being sponsored by anybody. This is not a promotion. Art Studio Pro is something I have had for years, almost 10 years now. And so I really just kind of needed something new, something fresh for my crafting. And I thought about bringing my two worlds together. And that's what we're going to do today. Stick around.
Here is an example of one of the clip arts that I had drawn. I did this using a feature on a digital app that I have for my iPad, which is called Art Studio Pro. And that feature is oil. It like creates different effects. And this one was kind of like oil painting. So I'll be able to show you what that looks like in a bit. But I'm really going to be doing with this one just the reverse transfer method that you've seen me do before, where I am going to use some decoupage matte by DecoArt, let it sit for about an hour or two, and then rub off the excess paper to reveal the beautiful picture. Once I finished wiping away all of that excess paper, I do also need to seal this with some more decoupage matte, and then I embellished with a little resin casting that I had in my stash. I decided that I didn't want to leave the snowflake in white. I was worried it wouldn't show up. I don't know if I was overthinking it. So I decided to finish it with some rub and buff in silver. I added a little eye hook and then some velvet ribbon as an embellishment. And this is a quick and easy project that you can gift or sell. I also wanted to show you how you can use some of these projects or some of these printables, sorry, as decoupage. So this is just a regular sheet of printer paper. So I printed this using a color laser printer, and I'm just going to fussy cut it and then decoupage it onto my project. Before I begin decoupaging, I did want to put something on the background of this piece that I have. I decided to use this stamp. I forget what it's called, but it is actually the first time I'm ever using it. I just got it more recently. I am going to use IOD's Stone Gray ink to stamp it onto the project before I use that decoupage. And the best part about using the printer paper is that I won't have to worry so much about anything showing through, especially with the stamp and that ink. That does show through a lot of times on decoupage paper that's thin, but it wouldn't do that on something like this. I did decide to heat set that ink before I moved on to the next step, just because I didn't want there to be any bleeding or any smudging of that beautiful stamp that I stamped on. I also wanted to make sure that the rim of the two cutouts actually looked a little bit more complete or finished, and I wanted to give it some like added dimension, I guess. So I am running the black ink around each of the black ink was around the grave, and then the pumpkin got the color pumpkin, which is I think archival, nope, StazOn ink. And I did end up patting it down a little bit on top of my little picture, which just gave it a little bit more variety in that color. So again, I'm heat setting it, and then I will actually take my liquid patina and decoupage on these two pieces. I painted the rim and the back of this wooden circle. I think it's the inside of a, oh my gosh, what do you call them? I forget what they're called. Anyway, I painted the rest of the piece in coal black by Fusion, and then I decided to continue on with the mixed media vibe that this project is creating by adding in a little cutout of a jack-o'-lantern. Now I want to show you something truly amazing. Something that cost me only $11.99, a one-time fee that I have been able to use for almost 10 years to design my own clip art. This is Art Studio Pro, and it is incredible. Just watch the magic happen. All right, so once you have the app open, you'll see there's a main workspace where you can create a canvas, choose brushes, colors, and more. So we're going to create this new project, and I'm going to use a variety of different features. This is a watercolor feature. It's just one of the examples of something you can use. We have lots of different options, and it also allows you to change sizes. That's what you see me doing here. I can change the size of my brush to something thick or thin. I also can decide the flow I want for the paint that's coming out of my Apple Pencil. So these are a lot of different features. It's a lot to teach all in one video, so I do not plan to do that today. I just wanted to give you a brief overview, see if this is something you would be interested in. And I also wanted to offer you the opportunity to use some of these things in your projects. And I'll explain a little bit more about that at the end. So make sure you stick around because I have a huge freebie for everyone watching today. Let's say you're not somebody who likes to draw or you can't draw. I have a trick that can help you out too. Here are some IOD stamps that I have of fall leaves. I'm going to be stamping these onto a piece of paper to start. Here is the printed out leaves from that IOD stamp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my iPad and I'm just going to take a picture of it. I sometimes like to go into the square mode. I mean, that's personal preference. You could do whatever. But I can ideally maybe take them separately because you can always layer them later. So I take those 3 pictures. It does not matter if one is in frame while you're taking a picture of the other one, no big deal. Now I'm going to go into Art Studio Pro, and I am going to create a new document. There's my pencil. So new from photos, and I'm going to take one of my leaves that I just took pictures of. So let's start with this one. Here is a picture of my leaf, okay? And I can use my fingers to size however I need to, so when I want to get more detailed, I can. Over here is where you will see the photo, and I can add layers here so that I can draw on top of this, and that's what I'm going to do. And I have different types of painting I can do. Oil paint, I can do watercolor. Over here is where I can size up and down. I can make the smudging thicker, like this, okay? Or I can make it super skinny, like this, where you can barely see it. Over here, so let me erase that real quick. That's the best part about this, right? You can erase. Can't do that with other projects. Oh, there it goes. Over here is where you can decide whether it's going to be a more more vibrant color or more transparent. So this is the transparency kind of they call it the flow. It's like the kind of the flow of the paint if you were actually painting. All right, so now I'm going to make sure that I'm on my transparent layer, so what's above this, because ultimately you're going to be able to take away this. You can't see it yet, but that's what we're going to ultimately do. All right, so some oil painting. Let's go over here. Don't worry so much about the lines because that's not the purpose of this. That's why we have the stamp that we can use later. Really, we're just going to try to make like, you can see, I don't know, a cool outline. So let's see how it's like kind of smudging together. That's that's what I love about Art Studio Pro, is that feature. I guess I didn't, when I had the regular Art Studio for like the first couple of years, there were some of those things I just couldn't do or didn't know how to do. I'll do that. Let's add in some darker brown. Sure. It's like coloring, right? It's soothing. Let's get some orange back in here. There we go. That's okay. Now you've done that, you want to take away this layer. Now you have your leaf. I know it looks like fire. It's okay. We're gonna fix that, but this is the important thing is that you now have the base that you can transfer on, right? Using reverse transfer, you could use decoupage, you could print, you know, however you print it. And then you could stamp the stamp back on. But I wanted to kind of show you some examples of how you could kind of create like different effects and use the stamps. So I'm not doing this method is not taking me away from IOD. It's enhancing things that I already have. And I mean, this is, you know, a $12 app that I've had for almost 10 years and I've used it for so many different things. And I never really considered using it for my projects in my videos until now. So I'm really excited to show this to you. I'm going to quick export and save it in PNG. When you go to save, remember, these little squares that you see in the back, that means it's transparent. You want to make sure that you have it on this before you save it. And then when you go into your photos, it will be there. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and print this. And then we are going to see each other again at my craft table where we will be using this in a project. I'm going to do my decoupage reverse transfer method. So my decoupage mat by DecoArt is going onto my printed side of my leaf, and I'm going to place it onto this board that has already been painted and in a chalk paint. It has not been sealed. I am going to let it sit for an hour or two, and then we're going to rub it off. And now we've moved on to the design phase. I didn't feel the need to show you the rubbing off of the printer paper like you saw in other parts of this video. I'm going to be using my IOD stamps to create some text onto this sign. And I feel that the little quote that I created not only captures the beauty of this leaf that I very quickly did using my app on my iPad, but also kind of goes along with kind of what I needed in my crafting world, right? I needed some change. And I'm hoping that you feel, as I do, that the change is beautiful. And even though it might not be your thing, it is definitely something to think about and, you know, just give you some inspiration. And so with that said, my idea is to provide you with some of the digital art that I've already created. If you click on the link below, it will also be linked above if I can do that. I will link it into a special place within my website where you can download it for free. So please head on over now. This is not something that will be available forever. I wanted to offer this to you now because I do understand that the majority of the people that are watching me are not necessarily people who are big into digital design or any of this. So I wanted to give this to you as a early Christmas. Okay, I just wanted to quickly show you when you go to my website and click on the link, you will get to the digital graphics page. You will add this to your cart. You will see it says $0. So do not worry. I am not charging you anything for this. However, you will need to complete checkout the same way that you would for anything else you order. It will not ask you for payment information. It just asks you for your address and other information. I have not figured out how to sidestep that, but you just put in that information. So I will put in my email address and then I put in my billing address, hit continue, and I'll hit purchase. Like I said, nothing else is there. Once you hit purchase, your order is complete and you go to a summary page where you can download these graphics. I really hope you enjoy this. Good luck and let me know what you think.